Hello. So I'm going to do a special review here for a subscriber. And before I start, I'm going to give a little bit of explanation of how I use the Ichimoku indicator to follow trends and identify change in trend direction. It works great for prices, stocks that are trending, like NEO here. Uh, we had the breakout down here at the bottom where price broke out of the cloud. And then we have these moving average lines here. This white line is called the Tenkan-sen line, and it follows a 9-period moving average. And the red line here is the Kijun-sen line, and that is a 26-period moving average. And when price is trending, note the orientation of these lines and the cloud. These lines here are 50, 100, and 200-period moving averages. I look at them too because price can tend to react to those. A lot of other traders use them. So we see when price is trending, how it reacts to the 50 average and the cloud, and pretty much follows the Tenkan-sen line when price is trending. And right here we had a moving average cross. Okay, this was actually a sell signal. If you're trading the TK cross, Tenkan-sen crosses Kijun-sen is referred to as a TK cross. But another way to trade is as long as price remains above a green uptrending cloud, you look for opportunities to go long. So the 50-period moving average right here turned out to be a buying opportunity. We had another buying opportunity here. Moving averages crossed again. We get up here near the top, and we had across here, we had some mixed signals right here, and then definitely got a good signal here where they crossed and we fell below the cloud. So, excuse me. So once price is now trending below the cloud begins to twist and turn red. This is confirmation of a new downtrend. This is where if you're in something like this, it's up 1,000%, 1,300% in like 10 months or short period of time, it's a good idea to take your profits or avoid long positions when price begins trending below the cloud. Now we have the Kijun-sen line coming in here. This offers downtrending resistance. You can see where price stayed below the Tenkan-sen line here. We jumped above it, so we went back up to try to test these resistance areas. We did react here and then back down. Now we've got price back below the Tenkan-sen line, so we have down momentum right now. One way to identify when price is oversold is the further price gets away from the cloud, the more likely it is you are to have a pullback. We're at the 200 moving average right here. Quite often price can react there. I like to look at a variety of charts and see how likely it is we are to have a pullback to get a feel for the market. And we haven't made a new low here yet, or at least based on this wick. The daily close were pretty much in line with the previous low here. So I'm suspecting this could sell off a little bit more and then ultimately pull back and test this downtrending Kijun-sen again, or possibly the cloud. Now if we can see price back above the cloud and the cloud begin to twist and turn green, that's when you would want to get back in. So right now NEO is definitely bearish, but this chart provides a good example of how to read this indicator and where the buy opportunities were. So if you get into a fast momentum trade like this, like down here at the bottom, you need to make sure that you're trending along with your Kijun-sen and you don't get a moving average cross, and that you're staying above the cloud. And this is a daily chart. I use 4-hour charts as well. They'll look a little different. So on the 4-hour chart, we're getting kind of a lot more TK crosses. And we don't have a lot of cloud history here because the 4-hour I can only go back, looks like 2 months is the maximum. But we're definitely trending below the cloud here, and we can see our pullback Still below the cloud, so this was not a buy opportunity yet. This just turned out to be a better selling opportunity. This is a lot of down momentum. We got pretty far from the cloud, pull back. Oh, hello cloud. Okay, back down we go. So if you want to try to trade a 4-hour chart and you see price get back above the cloud and the cloud twist and turn green, quite often on the daily chart, you will see the TK cross on the daily chart. And that can be a buy opportunity. You just need to make sure that the orientation of price and the indicators remains bullish. Okay, when price falls below the Tinkinson line, that is bearish, short-term bearish. So short-term bearish can turn on you pretty quick, but the TK cross can work for swing trading. For longer-term trading, I like to look at the daily chart and base it off the cloud. So definitely confirmed downtrend in NEO. PLTR, I've been watching this stock. This thing had a huge run. The market has just been really hard on things that have had such a huge run. This went from $10 all the way up to $45, so that's what, 450% gain. And then we fell. So I'm seeing kind of this head and shoulders top pattern here. See, the head, shoulder, shoulder. And now we have this consolidation base. Price has tested this area 1, 2, 3, 4 times now. So quite often when you see price test an area so many times and react, it's either going to pan out to be very good support, or eventually it will fail because price just keeps wanting to pick away at it. You know, it's like continuously hitting a weak spot with a hammer, however you want to compare it. We do have downtrending indicators here. Okay, we have the Kijinson line here coming down, starting to curve down onto the price. This is downtrending pressure right here. We have downtrending pressure from the cloud. So my bias right now is we may get a little bit of a bounce here, but my bias is that this line is likely to fail unless we can see some good bullish sentiment come in the market for some of these high momentum gainers. People are just wanting to take their profits and get into something safer, like some of the cyclicals within the S&P 500. The S&P 500 is holding up pretty good. A lot of the small caps and micro caps are just getting pummeled right now. They've had a monster run. So I would just be careful with this. I'd say a pop back up here might be a better opportunity to sell. I know a lot of people like this company and they're just going to stick with it no matter what. But anyway, this support line is something to watch. If price should fall below this support line, I don't see a lot of support in this high momentum uptrend right here. This area right in here could act as support since the candles spend a bit more time here than they did anywhere else I see in here. So this level right in here around $15 or all the way back down at the bottom at about $10 is the support I see on this chart. So hopefully best case scenario this holds right here. It's been holding so far. This head and shoulders top is a little bit concerning. CLSK. Okay, we're definitely bearish here, and this stock has been kind of volatile. It took us some time to fall below the cloud. Right here we see a lot of price activity on the interior of the cloud, and we fell below and then retested the top and then fell below again. This is pretty bearish right here. When price retests the top of the cloud a couple times like this, and now it's ultimately failed. This is a pretty bearish indicator. We may get another pullback, a little bit opportunity to sell. We have the Kijinson line here in red that's starting to curve down. I know if you're watching on a smaller screen, these are probably pretty hard to see. I always recommend watching on the largest screen you have, a PC or laptop, tablet, TV screen, whatever. So we have the 200 period moving average right here, and quite often we'll get a reaction there. It doesn't necessarily mean that the party is ready to go again right here because we're hitting the 200 moving average. Just it's normal for price to react here. See, we reacted to the 100 right here. Retested up here. We also had the Kijinsen line right here where we retested. Kijinsen and the top of the cloud. Flat areas of the cloud, like we see right here in red, can tend to be strong resistance or support levels. Okay. I like to look at the daily candlestick close. So to get bullish on this, I need to see the full body of a candlestick above the cloud, preferably a green cloud. These patterns can take quite a while to work themselves out. You just have to be really patient with Ichimoku and wait for the right buying signal. I wouldn't buy just based on the 200 moving average right here. I like to wait until I see a break above the cloud. So the interior of the cloud is called the Kumo, and when you break out above it, I usually like to wait for confirmation. One or two candlesticks, a full body of the candlestick above the cloud, to take a trade, and then make sure you keep your orientation of your moving average lines in bullish orientation like you see here. Excuse me. So anyway, there were a few selling signals here. You're getting a lot of mixed signals. This would have been a selling signal for me, but then we went back up, and I don't see a buying signal yet because we didn't get the full body of a candlestick above the cloud. So there was no other buy signal. Basically, right here when we fell into the cloud was a sell signal. This was a sell signal with the TK cross. So this thing's pretty volatile and giving some mixed signals here. Some charts work better than others. Fast momentum like this, you get a straight up thin cloud, which is unreliable. Price does not respect this type of cloud much at all. And if the price wants to come down and test this steep of a cloud, it typically will just ignore it and pass right through, do whatever it wants. So this chart's a little hard to read, with Ichimoku, but it's definitely bearish right now. BNGO, this thing has had a monster run. The market is being really hard on these kind of stocks right now, like I said. And we had a sell signal up here with a TK cross, and the orientation has remained the same. The Tenkan-sen has remained below the Kijinsen, but we had some trading inside the cloud action. We hugged the top of it, came down, tested the bottom, and now we have failed. We fell below the cloud, and this green candle, we tested this flat bottom of the cloud, and then we got a little bit of a reaction on the last trading day here on Friday, back down a little bit. So now we're below this cloud. All of these indicators are areas of resistance, okay? The Tenkan-sen, the Kijinsen, flat bottom of the cloud, top of the cloud, these are all areas of resistance now. So I would be out of this trade if you're trading this type of system, and wait for price back above the cloud to go long in this trade. Getting into something like this late, way up here, is really bad news because this is just up way too much. Gone from 60 cents to $15, okay? That's what, 1,000%? Yeah, coming late to this kind of party, up 1,000%. You better keep an eye on your indicators and know when to get out. Okay, right here we fell below. See how we're trending right with the Tenkan-sen line? We fell below Tenkan-sen here, and then boom, we fell below Kijinsen and we got the cross. Now we're trending below the Tenkan-sen line. Okay, we tried to cross here. We tested the top of the cloud in the Kijinsen and failed. Okay, these are all sell signals right in through here. Your buy signal was back here where this big bullish candle broke out of the cloud. Sometimes it's hard to commit to something like this when it first starts. So if you're going to jump on momentum like this, you need to be really careful. Straight up momentum is difficult to read with Ichimoku. Your moving average lines are blended together right here. Right here they separate out a little bit. Momentum kind of slowed down. We got to pull back right to the Kijinsen line here and we bounce from it. This would have been a buying opportunity. So I don't like to chase momentum, so I probably wouldn't have got in until I saw something like this. I said, okay, maybe I'll try it right here. This is the basis for my trade. It needs to stay above Kijinsen, full body of a candle below Kijinsen, and I have to stop loss. So it's difficult to catch something like this. Like I said, I don't like chasing momentum, but if you're gonna do it, daily chart with Ichimoku can give you a good indication of when the trend reverses. JMIA, we're bearish. We've fallen below the cloud. Fell below here. Got back up, retested the top, and failed. Now we've got all these downtrending indicators. We've got our Kijinsen, Tenkan-sen, fallen below the 100. Another one that's up a lot. So this is a very common thing in the market right now, is that traders are just taking their profits on these things, and I'm seeing a rotation into safer assets. I like to look at longer term trends sometimes just to see where this thing has been. And it looks like we've kind of topped out where we, the initial IPO or the beginning of this chart history here, kind of topped out, and I'm seeing kind of head and shoulders top here. You see that? I'm seeing this in a lot of stock patterns that are bleeding right now. Is this head and shoulders top? So how far down could this go? There's really no telling, but I just follow the trend with Ichimoku, so I would be out of this until I see the beginning of a new uptrend. Got some mixed signals here with the beginning of this uptrend. So this was a buy signal here. Fell below. We almost got a TK cross here. So, and we fell back into the cloud. So this actually was a sell signal here. We fell below Kijinsen and into the cloud. So that would have been a sell signal here. So you probably would have stopped out with a loss. And then boom, another buy signal. So not a real easy one to trade. This would have been a decent buy signal, because when you pull back and test this Kijinsen line here, this gives you a tight point to base a trade. So as long as price can stay above this Kijinsen line, you can stay long the trade. If we fail and you get the full body of a candle below Kijinsen, you stop out with a small gain or a loss, whatever. But so we had a sell signal here too where we crossed. So this one was not that easy to trade, but definitely bearish now. These things may see a pullback. The further you get from the cloud, the more likely it is you are to pull back. At some point, price always comes back and tests the cloud. See how far we were away from the cloud here? And what did we do? We pulled back some, right? Reacted to the Kijinsen, fast momentum trend here. So we stayed extended away from the cloud for quite a while. Came back and tested here. Tested here. See how we tried to react here to the cloud, but we were underneath. We had the TK cross, so now we're underneath Tenkan-sen, and we reacted to that downtrending Tenkan-sen right here. Fell into the cloud and below. Okay. So if you want to play the TK cross, you want to look for price back above Kijinsen and the TK cross, and price above your 2 moving average lines to get bullish on this. TLRY, TLRY, I'm actually short this trade. Another one that was just up a lot. We had a big blow off top here, big bearish engulfing candle. Now we're trending down. We get these oversold bounces. Kijinsen line was way up here because we took such a big drop that we moved kind of far away from our downtrending indicator. So this could actually provoke a larger pullback to try to test this. I thought we might pull back up into this area here, but we didn't quite get there. We moved towards it. So now we're underneath our moving average lines. They're kind of blended together here. But I can see the Kijinsen line is curving down right onto the price here. So as long as price stays below these two moving average lines, we have downtrending momentum. This cloud is pretty thin. Like I said, when you get a straight up thin cloud like this, price pretty well ignores it. It doesn't offer any support. This flat area right here is your main area of resistance. And then this is the Kijinsen and Tinkinson offer downtrending resistance. Kijinsen is the first one to be violated, and Kijinsen is a little bit stronger, and the cloud tends to be the strongest. So anyway, this is bearish. We may see a pullback down here, a reaction to the 100 moving average. See here how we reacted to this area of the cloud and the 50 moving average, and then we start to see this resistance, and we go back down. So I don't see any bullishness in this stock at all. I just see possibly a bounce would be a better opportunity to sell it. FUBO, this looks quite bearish. We got a lot of downtrending momentum. Possible this could pull back too. So I'm seeing a lot of oversold action in some of these, and we may get a pullback pretty soon. A pullback to this Kijinsen line. This will typically start to flatten out. See how we get these flat areas in the Kijinsen here. So right now we have downtrending momentum. So Kijinsen is curving down. We get some sideways action. This will flatten out. Ultimately, a pullback to the Kijinsen could provide a little bit better selling opportunity if you're wanting to cut some losses and take a little bit less of a loss in this. Once again, it's just up too much. This could be a support area here, but this is not very good support. We only have one big climax peak right here. So I don't really see any good meaningful support until we get down into here, around $13, $14. See how long of a chart history we have on this. Not a lot of chart history. So quite bearish. I'd kind of hate to take a loss here, because this does look like it's getting ready to either consolidate a bit or pull back some. A little bit better opportunity to sell, but you really can't predict price. You just try to interpret what the chart is telling you. And Ichimoku gives me a good idea how price is trending and where it's liable to react with these moving average lines. So we definitely have some swift down momentum in this right now. OCGN, this has turned bearish. Huge gap up. Very risky if you're trying to get in, chase this stuff. This was your buy signal down here, which is difficult to commit to because it's already up too much in my opinion. I don't like to chase momentum like this, so this could have been a buy opportunity where we got above. We started to get a flat Kijinsen line here and we tested it. So this could have been a buy opportunity, but then right here we crossed and we failed. So I probably would have gotten out right here and then boom, back up. So this thing just trades with some wild momentum. It's difficult to read. With Ichimoku, it's just moving too fast. But now we've had this consolidation here and we're below the cloud. This is stiff resistance right here at about 950. Excuse me, downtrending momentum. We're below the Tinkinson line here, indicating downtrending momentum. We had sort of a support area here with this consolidation right in here, and now we've broken below it. I don't usually count the wick because this is just intraday activity. I look at the daily close, daily candlestick close. So I can see this little bit of support here for this consolidation, and now we've broken below it. Looks like we fell below it and tried to test it right there. So I would look for some follow through on this. This looks like something that I would be out of at this point. ZOM, I'm actually in this trade. I kind of made a bad call now, but I played this pattern right here. We had this wedge pattern forming, and I usually tend to trade off of my TK cross or my cloud breakouts and whatnot. But this pattern looked pretty interesting. This thing has been up a lot too. So yeah, the market is selling these things right now. So we did get a breakout here. I saw this breakout right here, and this is actually where I entered the trade at about 205 or so. And we jumped up here and we failed. And now we've done this. So we had these levels of support. Our Kijinsen was support, and we tried to hold that, and we failed it. We still have the Tinkinsen above the Kijinsen, and these indicator lines are still above the cloud, but our price is down below them and into the cloud. So the cloud represents indecision. Price could go either way now because this is support and these are resistance now. So we're kind of bouncing between these two until we get a resolution and break out. We don't know which way the price is going to go, but I would say with these downtrending indicators here, there is more resistance now than there is support. So I'm not very optimistic for this trade. I probably should have closed this trade as soon as I got, well, see, we're still above the wedge here, and this is where we failed, but I'm holding on to last hope that we can respond off the bottom of this cloud. But I would say the high probability trade here is down at the moment. But yeah, the rule with Ichimoku is when you're trading on the interior of the cloud, you don't decide on direction yet. Direction is undecided. So we wait for a resolution to see which direction this is going to go. Let's look at a 4-hour chart on this. See, look on the 4-hour chart, we tested the bottom of the cloud, and now we've come up and we've reacted to this downtrending Tinkinsen, and we've got a TK cross here. So we do have bearish price action, but we're trying to hold this bottom of the cloud support. But as these indicators come down and keep implying downtrending pressure, this is liable to break, in my opinion. Opinions don't really matter, but you can kind of get a feel for high probability direction if you learn how to read this indicator properly. But it does take patience for these patterns to work themselves out. So we might go back up and test here again, bounce around some more, wait for a resolution and break out of this cloud, either top or bottom. So that's what I'm doing now. Luckily I didn't take a huge trade on this or anything. I actually scaled in with I bought about a third of my position here, and then I tried another third I think right here I put on another third, and now I'm waiting for this resolution here. SKLZ. This is bearish. We had our sell signal way up here, the TK cross, or unless you're playing the cloud. Depends on what got you into the trade, okay? If you got into this trade late, maybe on the test of the Kijinsen right here. So these could have provided a reason to enter a trade, and you're looking for the price to hold above this Kijinsen line, unless you got it down here at the bottom. But that's pretty rare to spot this just to get in right here at the bottom. Usually people don't spot these things until they've already got momentum and they're taking off. This huge candle here. So I like to look for opportunities. If I'm going to trade something fast momentum like this, of course, you know, never know how long they're going to live. But I like to look for opportunities where I can base a trade with a tight stop loss, like the test of this Kijinsen line here, or even a test of the cloud. Now we've stayed extended way away from the cloud. Look how far away we are from the cloud here. So the further you are from the cloud, the more likely it is you're to pull back, because at some point price always finds its way back to the cloud. It doesn't just go to the moon like so many people think they do. Always come back to the cloud at some point. Now the faster the momentum is, the steeper the cloud will get. So, and right here, like I said, with a straight up thin cloud, we did have a nice body up in here, but we did try to react to the cloud here, but the cloud was just too steep. And then we were below this Kijinsen line, so you can see how we reacted right here. Technical reaction right here, where we had the TK cross. So now the Kijinsen is resistance. And we tried to climb the wall of the cloud and we reacted right here at the Kijinsen line. So this reaction right here was another signal to get out. If we can get price back above this, then you can return your bullish position. So we've got downtrending momentum. We're getting pretty far away from the Kijinsen, and cloud. The more of these charts I look at, the more I think that we're oversold and may see a little bit better selling opportunity. Okay, so that's what I got for now, and I hope that helps. And in closing, I just want to say that chasing momentum like this is just about the most dangerous game in the stock market. Personally, I like to invest in much safer stocks. I learned a hard lesson with these stocks in my beginner years, chasing momentum. Gosh, that thing was up 25% today. I think I'll jump in. Yeah, you need to wait for these pullbacks and give yourself a tight stop loss to protect yourself from downside risk. So if you're doing this right and you're trading based on these levels, you don't even have to be right half the time to keep your portfolio moving in the right direction. If you're waiting for the right signals and you can avoid heavy losses and maximize your gains by following these indicators. All right, that's it for now.